So a couple of days ago, a little while back anyway, I actually sat down and I watched The Wolf of Wall Street. I didn't really care that much about like The Wolf of Wall Street when it came out. I'm not that huge of a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, and I hate Wall Street. I hate the idea of Wall Street. I hate the idea of like this industry is like it calls itself a stock market, but like it doesn't sell anything. Like you can't go to the stock market and buy something useful from there. But in any case, though, is like the Wolf of Wall Street really kind of like it was a. I will tell you this: it was easily a good movie for a bad reason. And also, I am really loving the quality of this camera right now. This is probably the most clear my videos have been in a while, or at least felt like. I mean, look at that. That quality is amazing. But let's steer off a little. I'm steering off. But yeah, like the little bits and pieces that I saw, like I saw the movie, but I saw it kind of like it was just like it was on Tubi. I'll check it out. Why not? I saw a lot of people referencing the movie. I saw a lot of gifs through social media referencing the movie. So I'm like, why not just do it just so I can sort of be in the know and understand the references from what I'm being provided. And you can find out that it's like based on a true story from that. Who's that dude who got arrested? What was his name? I forget. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but like it was just like it was one of those things where it was just like this movie made me realize that like professionalism is not real. Like professionalism is not like a real concept. It really does feel like the higher up you go up the ladder that is like American society. You know what I'm saying? You kind of just sort of it's like the more you play ball and the more you keep getting promoted, you find yourself at the tip top most level, and it's just a bunch of screaming white dudes in suits getting drunk, committing crimes, and just acting like children. If you hear stuff going on in the background, it's because I'm not the only one here today. But the fact of the matter is that like it's just like a lot of craziness that goes. It's like I'm like the scene where they're all in the scene where they're all in a room and they got all the naked women and they're screaming and they're running and they're raising all this chaos and all this other stuff. It's just like it's kind of like it's really making it very challenging to believe that that's not what the upper echelon elite lifestyle is. That it really does feel like that's the standard we're supposed to be reaching, and it's like it kind of feels like it feels less like it feels less like when I was growing up, the idea of what the elite was, or the idea the top level of society was when I was growing up, that was being pushed as like these prim and proper and really smart white guys with suits and ties. Archibald is like, Archibald, I believe that this computer has to be properly calibrated for just crap like that. You're kind of taught to believe that like that entire like that aspect, the elites were those guys who could be like you know what I'm saying. And then you actually like look into what society actually then you look into what it actually is, and it's just a bunch of like drug addicted it's just a bunch of drug addicted rich guys who are just like screaming and running, and they want to say they it's like they want to say slurs. They want to just like be obnoxious and do some of the most off the wall ridiculous things because they know that they're rich enough to just pay off the debt that comes with whatever crimes that they commit. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, here we are on the lower levels, don't want to commit crimes. Some of us just want a home to live in and just to be able to sleep a couple of days without like being under the constant dread of, oh snap, what happens if I buy food instead of pay rent today? You know what I'm saying? Just crap like that. It really it's like the higher you go up the level, the more ridiculous these people come off as. And this movie just feels like just a sort of a glimpse into that. Like there's a line in the movie that kind of it basically says, we don't sell anything useful. We don't sell something that people need. We have to or something like that. It was basically like the equivalent of like stock isn't real. You're not selling a real concept. You're just finding ways to get people to give you their money. And it was the first thing that went through my mind is they really put this in a movie. They really put that in a movie, like just thinking, oh snap, I can't believe that that's going to be the thing. Like it's like that movie in my opinion should have just woke a lot of people up as to what as to what money is, as to what trade is, not trade, but like as to what the stock exchanges and all the other stuff. I feel like The Wolf of Wall Street should have been like that movie that should have like made that should have just like made us realize this is a scam. These are people who are like taking our money and using it to do whatever they want with it, and then giving us bits and pieces of it back and saying, well, dividends or big returns or some crap. It's just like that should have been. I feel like that movie should have been like the thing that should have woke people up. And maybe because I didn't watch the movie or wasn't really aware of the financial scene back then, maybe that did happen and it just sort of slowed down. I don't know, but it just really, really, really does. Like, first of all, great. First of all, good movie. You know what I'm saying? All-star cast. The acting was actually not that bad. But I just remember just seeing this movie, just thinking to myself, like, what, like, how did this not, like, because, like, like, there's a lot of people right now today who are like, Bitcoin this and cryptocurrency that and fictional money this and finance and business, and money is actually the thing that makes everybody, like, money is actually the thing that your worth is your income, yada yada yada. It's like, and it's like, but this movie basically showed that that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? If you, and the sad part is that, like, it can look like that with everybody. It's not just this movie or that guy whose name I'm genuinely, like, I'm drawing a blank as to who he is right now. I really am drawing a blank. Also, if I'm not mistaken, he's out of jail, right? Like, this dude scammed a whole bunch of people, conned a whole bunch of people, took all their money, yada yada yada, and, like, he went to jail and then he got out. You know what I mean? It's like, lesson learned. I won't do that again until it's, unless, of course, it's for a little bit less. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's wild to me. It's wild. But it just, like, I was like, stuff like that just makes me, like, reminds me that the people in the upper echelons of our society are annoying, they are loud, they are obnoxious. They're not these perfect people that we tend to try to put into, like, a high pedestal. You know what I'm saying? They're terrible people who just sort of bought their image. And I'm going to always keep asking this, like, what PR team do these guys have that the rest of society looks at these guys and be like, those are the people that we should be aspiring to be like? And I know I got this little thing of hair right here. I don't know what it is, but it is not going down. But that's what I'm saying though. Is that like what PR team do these guys have that, like, the rest of society are like, these are the people they're the movers and they're the shakers, and they're the people that make the big decisions, and they're the people who do all this awesome stuff and succeed and everything. It's like, it's just really weird to me, because it's like The Wolf of Wall Street shouldn't just be about that one guy. It's literally, if you really look at it, it's the entire industry. They all do this stuff. They're all, like, with everything that we're slowly learning about the upper echelons of our society, such as, like, what they do to minors, how much money they spend on, and what they spend their money on. Like, you got all these, like, it's every drug imaginable, everything imaginable, every terrible thing that you could think of, they've done. And you want, and we're still supposed to, and somehow they're running the show. You think about that real quick. Like, you got all these billionaires and millionaires and corrupt individuals who do all these terrible things, and now they are, like, the presidential administration. They are now the people that are kind of in charge of everything. Like, if you really look deep into the system and all this other stuff, like, everything that Alex Jones said was kind of right, as much as I hate Alex Jones. But, like they're there. They're not hiding it anymore. They're being as obvious as they can about it. And nothing. We're supposed to just be okay with it now. It's weird, man. It's weird. It's weird. It's really, it's a weird thing, at least to me anyway. I'm just kind of wondering why it's not weird to anybody else. But yeah, like as far as The Wolf of Wall Street is concerned, as far as the movie is concerned, it was an okay movie. It wasn't the greatest thing, you know what I'm saying? But I will say this. Hold on, sorry. DiCaprio is a good actor. I'm just not really that hyped about his movies. Got a chance to see Margot Robbie, do her thing. It was Seth. I forgot that dude's name. Is it? God, what's that dude's name? Oh boy, I'm drawing a blank. He was the fat kid from Superbad. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a whole lot, and it feels like it exposed the industry a little bit. And it's like, I don't think people care enough about that part. I think they're just like, LOL, it's funny because he says the F word a whole bunch. And it's like, no, 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 no. There's more to it than that. You know, he says the F word. It does a lot of, and partakes in a lot of narcotics. And it's like, yeah, but there's so much more to it. You know what I'm saying? This is the system. This is basically showing us that there's a system out there that is ran by a bunch of incompetent man children who would rather sell you nothing and spend the money on narcotics and women that and non-consenting women and just a whole bunch of other things. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and then give you just a fraction of it back and say, hey, thanks. Here's your pay for giving us that money. It just doesn't feel like anything. That movie should have definitely like radicalized a lot of people, and I don't think it did. But that's just my take on it. I'm gonna go ahead and get back to trying my best to maintain what little bit of sanity I have. But in the meantime, how's this for a movie review? Love and peace. We'll talk later, hopefully.